Welcome in, I'm Dirt Farmer. This is our family farm out here in Montana. This week we're going to start it off by doing a little bit of some spraying again. I want to start the video off by letting you guys know that it's probably going to end up being a little bit shorter this week. So you know from last week's video, I was the only person on the farm here for about half the week again. It can also be extremely stressful, and so last week when I was by myself working, I was trying to get a ton of stuff done. Ended up having a slight accident. I didn't get hurt or anything. I was unhappy with myself for not kind of paying attention as much as I should have been. So this week, I'm going to be focusing just a little bit more on my actual job here. We're trying to kind of work through some stuff and get things figured out, but yeah, it's just, it's not always an easy job, especially certain times of the year where it's pretty busy too. And I am going to try to get you guys as much footage as I still can, but let's get back into it and we'll talk about what I'm doing on the farm this week. I only ended up spraying for about an hour this morning before the winds changed and kind of messed everything up, but I did finally get the combine done. I got it finished and I got the header hooked up to it, and then my uncle got a bunch of stuff done down at the pivots again, and he actually got the north pivot started. But now the wind's kind of right, so I might go finish up some of my spraying here. Another beautiful Montana morning, and I think I'm going to be working on the header a little bit here today. And I do still have my spraying to get done because I didn't get that done last night. Right after I took that video, the wind kind of changed a little bit again, so I couldn't actually get my spraying done. Throughout the day, I'll keep an eye on the flagpole. That's kind of what I use. It's just my American flag in the yard to just see what the wind's kind of doing. And we'll see if we can get our spraying done because we only have a couple edges left to actually get done. So what I'm doing on the header right now is I'm actually replacing some of these skid plates. Once they start getting a hole in them, then it starts actually piling up with dirt in front of the header. So that's why we're changing out the ones that have a little damage. So I'll show you one of the damaged ones here. So you can see right there, it's got some holes in it. So that'll just kind of plug up with dirt and it won't actually skid along the ground very well. Once you get all your tools figured out, it's actually not too terribly bad getting these things pulled off of here. I don't know if we'll be in real speed for this or sped up for the video, but I'll show you guys how I take one of these off of here. First off, we start with our drill. We're just trying to weaken those rivets as much as we can, because that's how these things are all held on here, is just pop rivets. See, actually here, let's see if I can pop them off with the bar maybe. Yep, gotta have a little bar here to pop them off. Next step, I'm gonna start chopping. Alright, we got that done. Grab our little chisel bar here, our hammer. Gonna get those rivets out. That one's actually pretty much out. Sometimes these things don't cooperate super well, but those ones actually came out very nicely. So yeah, like I said, not too bad. Then we just need to get our new one put on there. However, we do still need some parts for our new ones, so I'm not going to be doing that today anyways. Down here at the bin site that's a little bit closer to the pivots down here, we're actually just doing a little bit of some mowing, getting all that stuff chopped down. So I think we actually just about got it finished here, and then we're going to work our way back towards the house. We are about, I think, 6 miles away from the house right now, so we're going to kind of work our way back there and mow up some ditches and stuff on the way back too. It's about 6 o'clock, but I wanted to show you guys how I put these new skid plates on there. And so what I'm using to put these new skid plates on here is just the John Deere pop rivets. I like to have a little tray, that way I can just have some rivets I can grab easily. And then, most importantly, this rivet gun here. So we do have some other ones. They do not work very well though, so I do have to remember to use this one. Anyways, let's get this thing on there. So first off, we got to get our rivet put in the rivet gun. You just slide it in there, pretty simple. And then we got to be pretty careful when we're actually lining this thing up, because it can move a little bit and then it won't actually be lined up right. So I just like to kind of set it in there before I get the rivet set, double check, make sure our holes are lined up correctly, and I just like to hold it tight. That's one, and then the second one is where it actually sets it. You can hear it just popped it off, and then I like to use, I don't know if you guys can see it, just an old water jug here, and then that's where I put all the end of the rivets in. So you can see we got just our kind of solid chunk there, and I don't want these things ending up out in the gravel here, because then they could end up in tires just because they are pretty sharp. So that's why I like using this old water jug. It's just kind of like my little garbage can. So I'll grab a couple more, and then after we get that first one in, it's pretty simple. Almost the longest part is just waiting for that thing to actually drop out the rivet. Now I just got to do that same thing on the rest of the ones we're replacing. Up here on top of this little blue hopper bottom bin today, gonna get this thing cleaned out. We had a bunch of rotten chickpeas in here, so I'm gonna have to kind of crawl down there. There is a ladder, but it only goes about 5 feet down, and this thing's probably about, I don't know, 15 feet deep or something like that. So I did have to bring another ladder with me too up here. I got it up here with a various amounts of little ropes here kind of put together. It might get a little bit interesting, and if you guys don't hear from me for a while, maybe come pull me out of this thing. Well, we made it inside of the bin, and actually I kind of got everything working a lot better than I thought it was going to. So my secondary ladder here ended up being just about the perfect length, and got my tools in here now, so I just need to kind of get all this stuff scraped off of here and down to the bottom, and should be good. Then it's going to be a lot easier actually just taking everything down, I think, too. Well, it didn't come down the way I wanted it to. Getting the oil changed on the Freightliner right now. However, it is starting to rain, and it's just starting to actually rain. However, we have had the dark clouds, and we've had a ton of thunder and lightning this afternoon already, too. The clouds opened up, and it is coming down now. Man, this is almost like a monsoon more than a rain. Holy cow. It's been raining for maybe about a minute or less. Yeah, that's definitely a little bit of a downpour, I'd say. Holy cow. Man, it's still going here too. We're gonna have a ton of water just all over the place, I think. Another nice morning with almost an inch of rain yesterday. Kind of crazy, but I'm finishing up the old Freightshaker here, and we had some issues with this thing because the front little grill was actually falling off from it shaking so much. And so I'm going to try to get that fixed today. Like I said, I don't think they should have made trucks out of plastic. But you can see here, we got one little thing holding it on. The other one, I kind of squished it back in there, but it comes right out. Top one broke over there. That one also broke out. So what I'm going to do is just try to JB weld this thing back together. And that's why I've never been a fan of this truck, is just because it is not exactly heavy duty. But especially when it comes to farm trucks, we do live on all gravel roads around here, so everything is very rough. So I'm sure these trucks work fine if you're out on the highway and stuff like that. But for farm use, they're definitely a little bit light duty. Got the first initial coating on here, so I like to just kind of do the edges first, then we'll put another layer of JB weld on there. But I just kind of want to get everything lined up and stuck together first. Then, like I said, we'll add a little bit extra just for reinforcement. And I don't talk about the behind the scenes stuff too much, but I've gotten a couple sponsorships and offers from a couple different companies, like a microphone company and then a couple sunglasses companies as well. But half the stuff on our farm's held together by JB Weld, so that's probably one sponsorship I would take in a heartbeat. Got the Freightshaker done, however, we're still waiting for this JB weld to dry, and then we're going to put on another layer, have to wait for that to dry as well. So instead of just having it taking up a bunch of room in the shop, I got the T6 in here because we need to change the oil on that as well. Some of you guys might be thinking, well, why didn't you just change the oil on the trucks when you ran them through the shop in the winter? So a little recap, if you don't remember, our oil actually comes in bulk from John Deere. However, they had some issues with their big oil tankers this winter, so we weren't actually able to get any oil for about 6 months, and we were completely out. So pretty much everything else on these trucks is ready, but like I said, we just got to do the oil changes on them, and then any new stuff like this thing falling apart, because that was definitely not like that this winter. All kinds of stuff going on in the yard this morning, so I actually just washed out this little conveyor and the truck because we're going to get some lentils thrown on there and hauled to town, and then pretty much everything I think is out of the bins at that point. And I'm still working on the combine header as well. I actually got to get one more part for it and then I should be done. However, it's kind of being a pain taking stuff apart on that. So this is kind of what it looks like before harvest time, just getting everything ready.